Hi, this is Cheryl Smith with Heartland Stamping, and I am here tonight to show you a quick faux strip card. We're going to be creating the strips not with our trimmer or our scissors, but with our gilded leafing. These cards typically take strips of paper, and you can cut them straight or you can cut them at the diagonal like I did here. And then you've got some spacing in between that shows the white cardstock on which they've been laid. And this one, I did use the gilded leafing in between the strips, and they are cut. So pretty. This is a retired paper, and this was some of our celebration paper. Love our paper. They're always great. Now this paper here is designer series paper called Fine Art Floral, and you'll find it in the Fine Art Floral suite. It's beautiful. It has that look of paint that's put on with the trowel. It's just gorgeous, and it was created. We have a video that shows this real life painting in production, and then they take pictures of it. And it's just gorgeous. So it really is created right in Stampin' Up! Studios, and has lots of bright, vibrant colors and just beautiful to look at. Can't get enough of this designer series paper. This card I created with the mini messages. I don't know if you guys have seen that stamp set. It really is just a giant stamp set. I'll show you. I still have it on here on my Stamparatus. So it's been inked up with that navy ink, and I have been busy making a bunch of those. I still have the ink all over my fingers because I've just been in here creating and having fun. But I'm going to do one that's a little bit different than this one tonight to show you guys. And I will do the faux strips though, but we're going to do a different tag on there. Before I get started, I would like to ask if you hit that subscribe button. It helps out. It's a great way to help out people who have their own business and are on YouTube or other social media. If you like and subscribe, it's just a way that really helps boost their business, and it doesn't cost you anything. So please, if you have a business you want to support, that's a way that you can do it. Now, let's get started on our card. Got all the parts and pieces right here. I cut these ahead of time. So this one is 8.5 by 5.5, and then I've scored it in the middle at 4 1/4. So let's go ahead and fold that on my score line. And I always just hold the edges over here so they don't move, and kind of push it down with my thumb. And then I grab my bone folder and I put a nice crease in that so that it'll lay flat, and that does really well. Now for this, I've got some of the Fine Art Floral, and there were lots of color choices I could have made with this. This DSP could go with Bumblebee and So Saffron, Pool Party that I've got here, the Peacock, the Navy, Night of Navy. It's just so many colors look great with this paper. You cannot go wrong. We're going to take this beautiful paper and we're going to put some tear and tape right over the top. Now I will mention, in case some of my international friends are watching, I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States. So if you are in the United States and you need a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, please go to cherylsmith.stampinup.net, or you can find me here on YouTube in Heartland Stamping. I have a Facebook group, Heartland Stamping, and then a Facebook page, Cheryl Smith Independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. So you can find me at all of those. I try to do a live every Tuesday night, and if something happens that I can't, I'll post a new video here on YouTube and link it to my Facebook page for all of my followers. I love being able to connect with everyone. I tell you what, when We were all quarantined there at first. I was doing 2 lives a week, and it was a great way to stay in touch with everybody and just hear from them. It really kept me from being a little stir crazy. All right, we've got almost all of our tear and tape on here. Tear and tape really is a great tape. I mean, you saw I just pull these out and just rip it off wherever I want it. And if you want to make sure that it's going to stick where you want it to, I'll just leave it there for a second. You can take your bone folder and just kind of go over those, burnish them really well. And then that way the paper backing will come off nice and easy. Now before we pull off the backing, whoop, I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just going to trim off these edges because we don't want any excess gilded leafing sticking on the ends. We'll just cut those right off, make it nice and neat. One more. There we go. Okay, so now we have our strips on here. And again, we're doing this in lieu of cutting. So instead of cutting these into strips, we're just making our strips with the tear and tape, and then we're going to put the gilded leafing right on top. So let's pull those off. Now I will mention, you see this lid, that's from the original jar when I purchased my gilded leafing from Stampin' Up. And when you open that jar, be prepared and have another little container ready, because this is going to expand when you open it and you will never get all of that back into the container. So I have just a plastic container, and this is the gilded leafing on the inside. I keep my little sponge that I use to brush off. I've also got a paintbrush that I use too. We do have some watercolor paintbrushes you can use for that. But this little sponge stays right in there. I'm going to pour this. I had this on the lid just so you guys could see it when we started. Pour that back in there. So now we have our strips on here. I don't know if you can see those if I turn it in the light. But there are tear and tape strips on there, and I'm just going to lay this right in my gilded leafing. It's pretty on the back too, right? You see the paintbrush strokes. So you can see how much of the gilded leafing is sticking on there. And I'm going to take my sponge and just brush all of that off. And it comes off pretty easy. And if it helps, you can just put some heavier weight cardstock behind it. The designer series paper is a little bit thinner than cardstock, so it may not hold up if you brush super hard. Now I'm delicately brushing off, and then once I get the most of the gilded leafing off, then I'll come back and rub a little bit harder. But I'm trying to brush off the bigger flakes gently, and then I'll come back in. And let's go ahead and do that. Let's grab our card base, and now we can press a little bit harder. And press that right down in there. If you see any bare spots, oh, I thought that was a bare spot, but it was not. You see any bare spots, you can pick up another piece of gilded leafing and just place it right on that bare spot. But just keep rubbing until you get all of it, all of the excess off. And just think of all the different adhesives that you have. You know, our adhesive sheets, our foam sheets, our glue dots, even our multi-purpose liquid glue. If you put it as little accent areas on some designer series paper or stamped images, let it dry, it'll be like a post-it note, and it's just a little bit tacky, and then whatever you put in the gold leafing will stick. So just think of the adhesives that you can use with it. And then also our heat and stick powder that you use with the Versamark. You can stamp an image in Versamark and then put the heat and stick powder on it, heat it up, and while it's still warm, you dip that into this container and boom, you have a stamped image in gold. Pretty cool. All right, we do have a little bit of gold on our work surface, but that's okay. It's not quite as messy as the glitter. And I love Dazzling Diamonds glitter, but oh my goodness, it would get everywhere. So our card base is the smoky slate. We're going to put this right on here, but I want to put these two pieces. These are some of this designer series paper. I just cut them into little, you know, small little pieces. They're a 1/2 inch by, let's see, 2 inches. And I'm going to put them on either end just to add a little bit of extra color on there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this up on my grid paper. And I'm just going to estimate where I want it, pull it over here just a little bit so I see where that's going to be, and I'll put just a thin line of glue right where that will stick down. There we go, right on the edge. Now I'm going to translate that over to this side, and I know that it's right below this grid line, and that goes all the way across to this one. I'm just going to scoot that over a little bit. Uh-oh. Put some adhesive right here. Now you could put it on the back side of your paper if that's what you're more comfortable with, but on little pieces sometimes it's easier for me to put that glue down where I want my paper to be, and just make sure I don't put it too far down. And I was going for the wrong grid line. Scoot that over just a tiny bit. Sometimes when I pick up small pieces of paper with my hands, if they have glue on them or just embellishments or anything, I always end up with the glue all over me. So that's why I put the glue down and then put the paper over the top. So then this, when you lay right over it, these stick out as if there's a whole piece running back there, but that's just a great way to conserve your designer series paper. All right, let's get some dimensionals. I'm gonna pop this up, and because it's a big piece, I'll have more little dimensionals on there than I usually use. And of course we're gonna need one in the middle. We don't want it sagging in the middle. There we go. All right, let's pull those dimensional backs off. Dimensionals are great. They pop up your projects, just give them some different levels. Really adds a lot, and you get a bunch of them in a package. They'll last you a good while. So I just make sure that's where I want it before I press down. And we'll be adding some more items with dimensionals. When you get to these edges, don't just leave those. Cut your edges apart, and then you can use these too. And these are great because you can cut them as wide or narrow as you need them to be. And if you have little narrow things like the dragonfly, this guy, you can punch that out and you have that dragonfly tail. Oh my gosh, it is so thin, but you can snip that little dimensional edge and then make it as wide as you need it to be. It's great. Make it to fit anything. All right, so what do we want to put on our front? Well, I've die cut this from our layering ovals and this from our stitched shapes, and it's one of the oval stitch shapes. And we're going to layer those on here, and I've got a saying that we're going to use, so let's find that. This is the thank you for your kindness. It comes from the Dragonfly Garden. I've been using this just a ton. People who come to my classes, I think for the last January, February, March, yep, last 3 months, we've all been using it several times. So we're going to use Night of Navy. We'll ink that up really well. And we're just going to put that right down in the middle. When you stamp something, make sure you don't rock it back and forth. Just press it down firmly. If it sticks, you can just touch it with your finger and it'll pop right off. If you press it too hard or rock back and forth, you'll get some extra marks. And then you'll have to turn your paper over and try again. All right, close that up. And we're going to turn this over and let's put some dimensionals on that. Some of those that we cut apart. Whoops. The back of that one does not want to come off. All right. Get the rest of these off of here. I like the ovals. I've used these for so many different purposes, and recently a lot for my blocks and tags. That's more of a home decor piece. But I've used the oval. That's one of my staple die sets. I use it all the time. All right, so that's gonna go right here, but I think we want to add just a little bit more to it, you guys. Let's dress it up just a little bit, and I'll show you another fun trick. If you've watched one of my other videos, I did this not too long ago, but let's do it again just because we can. So we're going to add some embellishments, and we're just going to use our glue dots. So we're going to put a glue dot right here in the corner, and then we're going to put a glue dot. Let's see, let's put one right up here. And we need one more because we want to have 3. So should I put another one up here? Or let's do, I don't know if I can fit 1 in, 2 in right there. Maybe I'll put one right here next to that one. Now notice I don't touch these because if you touch them, their perfectly round shape might be altered. So I try to just stick those right on there from the roll without touching them with my finger. So we're going to open up our container with the gilded leafing. And instead of dipping it back in there, I've got all these pieces that are just sticking to the lid with static electricity. So I'll just peel some of those off and lay those right on top of the glue dots. There we go. And then we're going to do that same thing where we take our project, we're going to hold it over our container, and we're just going to rub those gilded leafing pieces right off there. And then you have little jeweled embellishments and polka dots. And if they don't come off where you want them, you just rub a little bit harder because yes, they will come off. And then we'll lay it on here and see what we think. Wonder if we need more. I always want to add more. I love those things. So yeah, they are so cute. Maybe put one right over here. Maybe one more. All right, we'll do one more. And I'll hold this up so you guys can see it really good. So we'll put it right there. So that's where the glue dot is. And we'll stick it in here. And it has a bunch of stuff sticking to it. There we go. And it looks really pretty if you put it on there with the gold leafing running down the sides, making that faux strip card. And then we've got the polka dots. Make sure you get your lid on very tightly. You don't want that stuff going anywhere. And then we'll just put some dimensionals on the back of this and put it down. And then we're going to do just a quick little something to the interior of the card. So, Pool Party was the color I chose to go with on this. We could have gone with the Pretty Peacock. That's getting ready to retire. If you like the in colors for 2019 to 2021, the Terracotta Tile, the Pretty Peacock, the Seaside Spray. Oh, the Seaside Spray. I'm so going to miss that one. They are all getting ready to retire. So they will no longer be in the catalog after May 3rd, 2021. Just keep that in mind. So that's the faux strip card with the gilded leafing. We're going to put just something quick on the inside. I've got some basic white and some Pool Party to put on the inside. And I also have, here it is. I've got a strip of that designer series paper that I'm just going to put over here on the edge. And I try to cut that a little big so that I can make sure that it's even on both ends. So again, I'm just going to do a line of glue right up there. Now if you wanted to, you could do this, but I want this to really reflect that lovely floral paper that's on the outside of the card. So I'll lay that down. And again, this is just extra strips that I have left over after I've cut my card bases and card fronts and what have you, how I'm using my DSP. And I always try to just put a little bit to coordinate with my card. And sometimes if I have a big enough piece, I'll do the back of the envelope. But you can see it's got that same floral pattern right here. If you wanted to, you could just put that straight in there, or we're going to layer it on the Pool Party to really bring out the Pool Party that we put on the front. Just try to bring it all together. So let's get our liquid glue and just a thin line of liquid glue all the way around. Lay this on top of our Pool Party. Now if you want to know the sizes, this is 3 3/4 by 5. And the Pool Party piece is 5 1/4 by 4. Those are the pretty standard margins, so that you have a 1/4 inch difference in your sizes. If you want a narrower margin, then just make it an 1/8 inch, so that you only have a 16th of an inch all the way around. So there we go. There's our card. Thank you for your kindness. I can always use thank you cards. And then there's the inside, and there's plenty of space to write a sweet little note to my friend and tell her how much I appreciate her. That is our card for tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed it and seeing a couple of uses for the gilded leafing. It's a great product, and you can find it at cherylsmith.stampinup.net. Again, you can find me through Heartland Stamping Facebook group, Heartland Stamping on YouTube, and then my Facebook page and my storefront as well. I'd love to help you on your crafting journey, and if you're wanting to get your products at a discount, or maybe even do what I do and have a business that you love where you get to make things and share them with people, I'd love to help you with that too. Ask me any questions, I'll answer. Ask me for support, I will give it, and help you to become, you know, whatever you want to be in your crafting ventures. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening, and hope to see you again here on Heartland Stamping really soon. Bye-bye.